From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Las Vegas where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show we talk about what you think about but may be afraid to voice. Don't worry, we'll voice it for you. It's No Holds Barred Radio, folks. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, hurricane talk, president talk, politics, film, TV, you name it, we'll talk about it. And we're here with my co-host, TJ Santis. TJ, another week gone by. I can see there's no more hair on your head, so obviously everything's good.
I mean, if something happened to where hair grew on my head, I would be loving it. But I don't know. Maybe that moment is now. We got Chito Vera back on the show. Like maybe it's all uphill from here.
Well, you know what? With Chito, you never know what's going to happen. The hair may stand up in your head when we hear what Chito has to talk about, but it's all good. All right, here we are. We've got the UFC veteran octagon warrior, a good friend, great fighter, always fun to watch. The man is definitely on his way upward all the time, everywhere in life. Chito Vera, how are you, Chito? You good?
I'm great, man. I'm healthy. I'm happy, and just living life, training every day, doing my thing, and I'm stoked. This morning, got to try my two new boards, and I'm excited. Life is good.
Yeah. So tell me, okay, you know, being the old time surfer that I am, your two new boards. So, like, where did you go out today? Where first off, what break did you hit?
I went to River Jetties, which is in Newport Beach, close to my, and I tried this twin fin I got from Album, and I'm psyching on it. It's a really fun, easy to ride. I gotta thank my man Jack Friesen for linking me up with the guys because these boards are magic.
You know what's nice about them though, Chito, because like in my younger days, I used to surf a swallowtail twin fin, right? And the one thing I remember about that swallowtail twin fin is it was so loose. I mean, you could just go top to bottom, move around. It's one of the most loose boards I ever surfed in my life. And they were really, especially the Australian surfers used to love twin fins. But it's always been tri-fin ever since, three fins. So would you take that twin fin on a big wave, you know, a nice 10, 12-foot face?
Yeah, I've been surfing fishes for a while now, and most of my shortboards are pretty much either a quad or a twin. So I haven't surfed thrusters in a while, but they're just so fun. It's easy to get in the wave.
Yeah,
they got speed. You don't need to like really work too hard. And I love surfing, but I just can't put so much time on it because I'm training every day. But whenever I have a little window, I'm in the water, and these boards are so fun to ride. And I just got two new boards last night, so I'm pretty happy.
I remember that feeling of the new board, looking at it clean with no wax. To me, it's always been one of the most beautiful visions when I get it that first day. Can't wait to get in the water, wax it up so perfectly. You know, the wax is going to get screwed up sooner or later, but all good.
Well, what's crazy to me, Buff, is just real quick, as a guy from Minnesota who, you know, we don't have surfboards or anything to surf other than the internet. It is mind-boggling how expensive some of these boards are.
Well, you know, in my day, you could buy a fine board for $350. I've got 6 or 7 boards, you know, in my quiver in the garage, but I have not bought a new surfboard for at least over 10 years. Chito, tell me, what's the price on the swallowtail? What was the twin fin? What did you have to pay for that board?
I've been getting all my boards.
I'm sure you get it for free, but what's the retail price to pay?
I think these ones, because they're actually not just good boards, but they kind of like make it pretty arty. They look good. Colors are really cool. These ones goes for almost $2 grand.
$2 now for a surfboard? Really?
That's insane. I don't think my first car cost $2 grand.
I'm so lucky. I got so much friends in the surf industry. Like my first board in California was a gift from Kelly Slater, which that board I used it for like half a year, and now it's just, honestly, it means so much to me that that's just a piece of art. Like I don't really use it anymore just because I wanted to keep it like that. My other surfer friend Jack Friesen, this is board number 4 I got from him, so I'm stoked about it. And Rod Machado hand shaped one for me, so I don't want to use that one anymore because that's made handmade by Rob Machado. So that board is special to me. So that board, I just keep it on my surf rack, and I will use it, but some ones have some special, like the Rob Machado and the Kelly Slater board. Those ones I want to keep them alive. So,
well, you know, you're absolutely correct. Cause like I'm a big collector of memorabilia, which we talk about in the show, but also surfboard collecting. Surfboards are worth a lot of money. I still have from roughly 1977, an original single fin lightning bolt that I bought in Hawaii. That was made, I bought it at Haleiwa, right? And it's a little beat up from, you know, some of the reef hits I took and stuff like that, but it's a beautiful board. And I'll keep it forever. God only knows what that's worth as a collector's item, because we're talking about a surfboard that's almost 40 years old.
I was just going to ask Bruce, I mean, Chito brings up the fact that they're kind of like art, you know, there's some similarities here between surfboards and guitars, if you will. There are a lot of people that are really into guitars and they like to just put them on the wall and you know, have them be art. Do surfboards maintain their functionality as they age? Because I know, like in the case of guitars, sometimes people say they get better with age.
No, I mean, I'll speak first on that. Chito, you had too, but absolutely they maintain their functionality, but it's all about your surfing. You know, we've gone from, I mean, I've gone from the ages of single fin surfboards with no surf leash because they weren't around, surfing North Shore big waves, and you know,
man, how'd you keep your board and not lose it without a leash?
I lost 2 boards that way.
I bet.
You know, in big swells. My first trip out North Shore to Sunset Beach, North Shore, Honolulu, was probably about an 8 to 10 foot Hawaiian day. Cause in Hawaii, Chito, I always measure the waves by the back. I'll say I surfed a 12-foot face, but we know that's maybe a 6-foot wave, you know?
Yeah.
So we measure them by the back, and it was good, like 8 to 10 foot backs, which is huge.
That's huge.
You know, you wipe out. I wasn't used to the currents at sunset. I didn't know where the board was going to wind up, and I lost it. Literally within
correct
an hour.
Me if I'm wrong. On the North Shore in Oahu, when you come down, when it breaks, like you're coming down pretty shallow. Like the wave is bigger than the actual depth of the water. It depends
on where you're surfing. If you're surfing at Pipeline, you could be in a foot of water, 2 feet of water, right? At sunset can get deep in certain areas until you get to inner sunset when you're getting close to the shore. So listen, part of the thing, and I think you'll back me up on this, Chito, no matter how good you surf, no matter how good an athlete you are, rather, unless you have wave knowledge, you're not going to accomplish and be a good surfer. You have to understand wave knowledge, where you're surfing, the bottom, the point break, beach break, reef break. You know, you got to put that all into consideration. Am I correct, Chito?
Yeah, no, you're right. You need to know where you at, because some people just jump in a place they never surfed before, and they can be surfers, but they can get injured. You can actually die if it's a big wave. There's rocks out there. You just need to go, you know, KO, and then you're gone. Like, you know, surfing is dangerous if you don't. That's what, if I go to a place I don't know, I'm pretty lucky. I'm get to know a lot of great surfers that, you know, tell me where to go, how to do it. Like, I just don't go without knowing, because surfing can be very dangerous if you don't know exactly where you at.
I think that's also, though, says something about your mindset, both of you guys, because I know, Bruce, you're sort of a risk taker and an adventurer. Like you kind of have to have the fighter's mindset to go out into the ocean when it's you know, big waves, and you're taking them on. You're taking almost a challenge and making it work for you.
It's very hard to describe the feeling when you're out on like a 8 to 10 foot day, which is anywhere from 15 plus foot faces coming in. But when you see the swells rolling in and you hear that, you know, the famous line, Chito, outside, you know, and everybody starts paddling like crazy. And then these mountains are coming at you, and you just make it over the top, right? Because you're surfing outward. It's hard to describe that feeling, right, Chito?
But there's a difficult. Big moment, and you don't want to dog dive, you want to pass on top, your heart rate goes crazy. And I haven't surfed like really, really big yet. But like, even when it's big for me, like when it's like a solid 6 foot, that I'm like, holy shit, I just need to get out of here. I don't want that thing to explode before I pass it. And surfing is the best thing in the world. Like
my favorite sport.
Is the best thing I ever did in my life is surfing.
I hear, Chito, that it's therapeutic. Bruce always talks about how the water sort of like rebirths him, if you will, if you have like stress. Do you feel that way after a fight? Like, do you get to go out and surf, and do you feel like you're renewed?
I surf I surf even the week before 5 week. Like I'm always water. Like it's just there's definitely a risk of getting injured, right? But I run the risk hitting the bag. I run the risk going for a run. So surfing gives me so much peace and mentally calm awareness. Just just bring me pure joy that I take any risk in exchange of what I get, because I have so much fun in the water. And just seeing dolphins in the water, surfing with my friends, or surfing with guys I look up when I was a kid and I thought I would never go to meet. That's the coolest part just alone.
It's a very zen-like feeling. I mean, I've seen everything. I've surfed where there was a shelf. When I mean that, in Westward Beach in Malibu, it's a great break, closest to Hawaii break there is. It's a left when the swells are big. So the surf line is very close to shore, like pipeline, right? But there's a shelf. I mean, it literally drops. And I've seen sharks, dolphins, you name it. But the best experience I had was when I'm estimating a 40+ foot blue whale swam by the shelf, literally within 50 feet of us.
Wow.
Be next to a magnificent animal like that, or mammal
That's crazy.
like that. It's mind-boggling. It's a very zen-like experience, and then when the sharks come, which I've had a couple experiences of, that's not really zen-like. That's a little nervous. And just remember, for those I've said this before in the show, but for those that swim, remember, sharks have a dorsal and a tail, right? So that it breaks the water. Dolphins tail are like this. So the first time I ever was around dolphins, I thought it was a shark till I realized that it was a dolphin. But if you see this, the distance between the tail and the dorsal, if you double it, that's the size of the shark. So if there's 4 feet, it's an 8-foot shark. If there's 6 feet, get the hell out of the water. Okay. Whatever. All good. So I love it. I've broken my board 3 times, 2 times, no, 3 times, twice out of land and once in the water. And in the water, it was diving underneath a big swell. It was 1982, one of the biggest swells that hit. I almost died the same day. That's a whole nother story. But I was diving under the water, not doing a duck dive, because the wave, the lip coming down, it's almost like 2 tons of water, TJ, or God knows what.
Man, I can't believe that.
So I dove under knowing I was going to get hit, and I heard a thwack. And when I got up, my board was completely broken in half. It just hit it in the middle, just broke the board in half.
Jeez.
The other 2 times I'm not very proud of. I had a Porsche 911S when I was 19, and I used to stick my surfboard through the sunroof, and I'd be driving around, and I was surfed out from a long session. I go back. I forgot that I had the board in my sunroof, and I drove into my garage, and it broke the surfboard in half, plus busted up the sunroof on the Porsche. If you want to talk about feeling like a complete idiot, then another time I had another car. This was when I was younger, and I put the surfboard through, and I was driving down to the beach, this little beach club area in Malibu. I didn't calculate that the building was not high enough, and I did the same thing. So I laugh at myself. Okay. I consider myself an intelligent guy, but you know what? I don't mind laughing for my little faux pas, my little screw ups. So yeah, all good. You ever
what's going on?
You ever break a board, Chito?
Never. In half, never.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling.
He only breaks people in half, Bruce.
Well, that we know. One last thing on surfing, I'll bring back so many memories because I love surfing so much, Chito. I can't begin to tell you.
I'm with you.
In the big swell in 82, I was telling you about, I was out, and that day that I broke my board in half, I'd already been surfing for about an hour and a half that day. This is surfer mentality. I ran down to Malibu to a place called Natural Progression, bought another gun, went right back out in the water. I mean, that's the surfer mentality, right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah. If you lose one, you got to get another one.
Exactly. Just like a fight, just keep fighting until they're down, bottom line.
That's true.
So speaking about fighting, Chito, how's things going? What's up?
I'm great, man. I'm training every day. I'm in phenomenal shape. I could fight for the belt tomorrow. I can fight against anybody, next week if possible. Like, I'm healthy. My weight is under control just because the way I live. And, I'm running 30 miles every week. I'm doing everything I could do to just keep kicking ass.
You're in shape 365 days a year, Chito. It's 366 on a leap year. They call you. I know you're going to be up for it no matter what.
that's my job, and I treat it like a job. I don't do this for fun. It's really cool to be a fighter just because it's cool to be an athlete, but I really take it seriously. I'm always in. I'm in the gym every day. This week, for example, coach is with my teammate in Vegas, and I'm training every day. I'm wrestling and grappling. I'm adding a session here and there. So even if coach is not here, I don't, I'm keep doing it because he's gonna come back, and I gotta be sharp by the time he comes back.
Self-motivated.
Right. Always motivated. That's the attitude. You have a winner's attitude, a champion attitude, which means that goal is going to be around your belt someday, Chito. That's what I want to see.
But I want it so bad, and I really mean it. Everything I say about it, like I just don't want it for the noise. I don't want it just because it's something I feel is cool. I mean to be a world champion, and I feel when I get the belt, I'm not gonna hold it. I'm not gonna like try to hold it for my life so I can be a champ for longer. I'm gonna fight whoever is next in line, and I'm gonna just keep it rolling. I'll bring back a great champion mentality, because these days everything is about the media, everything is about what people say, everything's about flashy stuff. I'm like, I'm with the Sal Bender when he says fuck the noise. That's a fact. You need to be away from that. You need to be consistently doing whatever makes you better, and just keep going.
Yep. Name of the game. Always always moving forward, always punching, right? So Chito, it was a few weeks ago after the show that we had in Vegas, or a couple weeks ago, the big show. And, Mackenzie, who I'm a huge fan of, I've known her for all the time she's been in this thing. She's such a great girl. So she's got a big fight this weekend. Got a big fight. This is probably her toughest go, as it always is usually on the next fight. And I'm sure you're going to be there. I understand, without giving anything away, I have no idea what's going on, but the Apex is actually a little more closed down as far as people attending this fight. I saw
a lot more closed down, apparently.
Yeah, well, Mackenzie, in her interview, I saw on social media, she was talking about I don't know. I'd ask people, why is it closed down? And nobody would tell me anything. It's that closed down. And then she mentioned Mark Zuckerberg, but then Dana came on and said, no, that's not the case. Zuckerberg has not rendered it out. So it remains to be seen. I think we're all due for a little surprise come Saturday. But the lineup Saturday, it's a good solid lineup, but I'm really excited about Mackenzie's fight. This is going to be
it's a fun card. I'm doing commentary, so I'm part of the staff anyways. So I'll be there for sure, and it's a fun card. Like if you're a person that really watch MMA, that's a top to bottom solid card, and it's exciting. I feel the winner of this fight can fight for the belt next.
Hey, real quick on that note, Chito, you talk about doing commentary, and it's pretty great to see you providing Spanish commentary, because I remember having a conversation with you in Orange County with Ian McCall about how you wanted to really pursue that, and it's hard to pursue that at the same time that you're trying to capture a world championship. But do you think doing commentary makes you think about MMA differently than if you were just a fighter?
Honestly, I do commentary for fun. I like. I'm a junkie. I'm watching every single fight card top to bottom, talking UFC wise, and I really pay attention who's coming up, who's on the way up, who's on the way down. I keep very aware of those things. Like honestly, commentating for me is for fun. Like I do it because it's cool. I do it because I want to be live in the events, and might as well keep just getting better at it. Like my main goal in life is just being a world champion. I put all my energy into that. Commentating, it's something I do for fun. It's something I do to learn the other side of MMA, see things from a different perspective, and you speak up of the energy of the fight, because when you're live, it's a way different animal. You really see another energy. So as a fighter, it's good to feel that, because it's good reminders here and there.
You know what, Chito? It's called being passionate about what you do. You're living a lifestyle. It's not like you're going to work. You're living your life. And I announce and have a ton of fun when I announce. But like yourself, and I hope this is true, I'm still going to cash that paycheck on Monday.
1,000%.
100%. 100%.
There's nothing better than getting paid while you have fun, or getting paid doing things you love, because
the best.
There's so many people that it's sad all week long doing something shitty for a shitty job that they hate, and they're doing it for the money. I'm not money driving. I'm doing everything I want to do, and might as well get paid doing it.
Absolutely. And you know what, as I always talk about on the show, which I think you're a prime example of, is being a role model to your sphere of influence, because all these young people watching us, as well as the older demographic, they follow you, they worship you to a certain extent, and they follow all of us. And we have a goal, we have an obligation in life to be solid role models, especially to the young kids watching in this world of decaying morality in which we live. And for that, I thank you for being the way you are, Chito. You're a stand-up guy.
I try, man. I really try, because sometimes it's cool to, to do some crazy shit here and there, but then you realize, like, how many people really think that's real? Probably a lot, and they will go and repeat it, and it's gonna work well for them, because they're not are who you are. So
right.
Might as well just try to do your best, be a little better than you were before, and just lead by example. Work hard, go and chase your dreams, and you will get it. Trust me, you won't get anything just by wishing it. You need to go and get it.
You know what? Don't wait for things to happen, Chito. Make them happen.
Exactly.
Bottom line. Ask for the sale, ask for the money, ask for the fight, ask for the date, ask for life. Okay. It's not going to happen unless you go for it. Sure, it'll happen if you get handed to it. But if you sit around waiting to get lucky, it's not going to work. I have a theory. It's called a bufferism. It's called BSC: balls, skill, and confidence, whether it's surfing, fighting, whatever. And the little 10 to 20% luck factor. We all need it. We all need that good energy on our side. We all need that oops. But at the end of the day, you need to get after it. Like, even if you're lucky enough that everything gets to you, at some point will catch up. Somebody will work a little harder. It's gonna take it away from you. Like, and the same approach I put in fighting, I put it in anything in life. Good.
To try to teach my kids better things, keep a good relationship with my wife. It's a daily grind. Like, you gotta water the plants in order to keep it beautiful and pretty. Yeah. Same exact thing about life. You need to, everything around you needs to work. Needs a little garden, needs to cut a little bit of grass, keep it nice and clean, keep the leaves, the dead leaves away from the tree. Like that is life. But that's really how life works. You need to water everything you love in order to grow. And some people sometimes forget about it. Too much work, too much fame, too much money, too much time chasing the wrong things. For me, it's just, I just want to be happy. I just want to have a cool life, lay down and just have a good one. Like, I'm not looking after nothing crazy.
Great attitude, and take care of, as you said, take care of your family and your loved ones. I take care of my family and my loved ones. I have a circle that involves loved ones that are not my blood, that are other blood. But the bottom line is, when people are loyal to you and you're loyal to them and they're always there for you, they deserve to be treated like you treat family. There is a difference between blood and not blood, but it's very hard to find good people in this world that either become your best friends or even family friends. And when you find that, as well as you giving it to them, I don't ever want to lose it. It's very hard to find good friends. You'll always meet a lot of people, but it's very hard to find good friends.
I keep my circle pretty close. I keep it pretty small, and I make sure it's just solid. Like, in Coach John Wooden, in his book, said all the time, the basketball coach, like, people need people to become better. Like, I fit from you, you fit from me. We push each other in that direction, and that's the beauty about life. Like, yeah, it's sometimes you do a couple things here and there by yourself, but I'd rather do it with people around me. It's just cooler. It's better. Like, hard times without people sucks, and great times without people also sucks. So might as well just have a really cool circle to share the good things. And at some point when you're down in life, they will back you up, and they will bring you back up. And I really appreciate that. And you just gotta keep taking care of them, because they will take care of you.
Absolutely, no question. I can't add any more to that. Fine words from a fine man. I appreciate that. Speaking of a man who really shines at times, let's just talk about Dana White for a second. Okay. Just read yesterday that he donated $10,000 to the Muay Thai fighter, John Esposito, who lost his legs back in December of 2021. This is not the first time Dana's reached out and done something. It's not that $10,000 is going to change this man's life or bring his legs back, but it's a very generous donation to somebody that I'm sure could use the money. And I praise Dana for doing that. He's gone to the help of people many, many, many times.
I've been saying this for years. Like, everybody cries so much about fighters' pay and, oh, I don't make much money, or blah blah blah, or fuck this, fuck that. You don't pay me, or fuck you. I'm like, the base UFC fighter that is making 10 and 10, the one that never fought or won anything in the big show. This is how I see it. I'm like, go to college, own $500,000, and get a degree, and go. Your first job is not gonna be 10 and 10. Your very first job is gonna be probably 500 to 1,000 a month, and you gotta pay rent. You gotta do all this crazy shit. So 10 and 10 for somebody that haven't do nothing in life, I think it's a great start. I'm sure people talk about boxing and they talk about Mayweather, Canelo, the Gypsy King. Those guys wasn't making that money when they had the first pro debut, the first 10 fights in boxing. So people get a little twisted when they see Conor McGregor money. I'm like, don't be a fucking fool, a foolish idiot. Read a little more of the game. Like, there's a start, but there's also a long way to go. That's why, until this day, I haven't said nothing negative about Dana. Sure, he made it. He's rich, but guess what? Was he rich when he was asking the franchises, "Come on, we can make this happen. Keep putting the money here"? The guy's not an idiot. He worked his way to where he's at right now. And if you hate him for that, you will never become nothing close from that.
Yeah, on the fighter pay, real quick, Chito brings up a good point. 10 and 10, plus you have the opportunity to win a $50,000 bonus, right? So it's like $70,000 for what could be only seconds of work, or at most, 15 minutes of work. It's a pretty damn good deal.
Let me elaborate on it a little bit more. And Chito, thank you for bringing that up, because coming from a fighter, I love hearing it. Coming from me, people would probably rather hear it from a fighter, but now coming from me, the UFC is the rocket ship that every other MMA organization follows. And sure, we hear about the PBL contract, they make $1 million. We hear about Bellator where, some fighters get paid big. There's always the 1 or 2% at the top of every food chain and every business there is that makes the big money. Okay. It's just always the case. The Conor McGregor with the zit factor, whatever. But in the world of MMA, as a rule, nobody pays more than the UFC, gives the opportunities the UFC gives to get to the higher level. And I will tell you that without mentioning names, I have seen boxing undercard paychecks when I've announced boxing and when I've been at boxing. And I'm telling you, fighting for $1,000, fighting for $1,500.
It's like $100 a round sometimes at the lower level.
But it's like out of that comes, the cuts that everybody gets. The fighter basically walks away with nothing, and sure, they have to prove themselves. So the 10 and 10 is a fantastic thing. And the UFC has created more millionaires than I can count. Through the years. Also,
too, Bruce, like, I call regional MMA, and I'm not knocking anybody that I work for, but the pay structure is different on the outside looking in. So it's like you get to the UFC and you have the opportunity to win $20,000 in your first fight. That's sometimes, 4 times or higher the amount that you're getting for taking very tough fights in the regional circuit.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Guess what? If you know how to read the game and you're smart enough to promote yourself without crossing the line and being confident and go after it, you can do a lot of shortcuts in pay. You can, like, if you ask the proper way and you go and kick some ass, you get whatever the fuck you want. Like, that's what people don't get. We're self-contractors. Like, it's like having a big company that you are building a huge building, right? You hire whoever paints, you hire who makes cabinets, and there's 1,000 people that make those things. So they just pick the best ones. So in MMA, it's the same thing. They pick the best out of the division to do something big. And if you do it right and you put people to sleep or choke them out or put on a show, you get what you want. Like, I'm like, when people cry about, like, oh, I pay my coach, I pay my nutritionist, I pay the conditioning coach. Of course you gotta pay them. I pay them. Everybody pay them. Like, so they make a that too. So if you're crying because you pay the people that help you win, and now you have 20,000 less, fuck, I don't know. You just gotta pay. That's the way the way life works. Somebody help you, somebody work for you, you pay them. You guys work together, you pay them. Simple.
It's also simple too that when you don't pay for something, you don't get the best service. You get what you pay for. You got it for free, then you're not going to get the best of the best unless it's some personal friend doing a number for you. Speaking about making more money, and I'm not telling you to do this, Chito, and or Mackenzie to do it, but you know this whole OnlyFans, right? Site that people are coming. I just read yesterday. Did you see this, TJ? That Marina Moroz, the UFC fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's now she's posing nude for Playboy.
Okay.
And they said Playboy centerfold, but Playboy doesn't have a magazine with a centerfold. I think this is probably in a European Playboy online or whatever.
I couldn't tell you, Buff.
I don't know either, but it was very cute watching her. She's, you know, she's now doing, I'm not saying she's not doing anything here according, you know, pornographic. I do not mean that at all, but showing nude pictures and everything on her special site where people pay memberships for. It's amazing the amount of money that some of these girls make.
Does this story end with you telling us to sign up for your new OnlyFans, Bruce?
No. Okay. That's Paulo Costa. I heard Paulo Costa starting an OnlyFans site. All I see, I love Paulo, but all I see him is with the secret juice and he's topless. He's always got no shirt on every time he's being interviewed now.
Hey, he knows
and let's
what
face
he's
it,
doing.
he's a Greek Adonis. I mean, a Brazilian Adonis. There's no question. So more power to Paulo. More power. I don't know what his OnlyFans site is going to be showing, but
I feel the OnlyFans works great for women. I don't really know. Like, men is always chasing women crazily, right? I think guys with OnlyFans, I'm sure there's a couple ones out there making bank, but I would say the girls have a better luck there.
I would think so. I mean, how many pictures is Paulo going to be able to show? Like underwear shots, you know, every week or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, his girlfriend, who he's truly in love with, who's a wonderful girl, they have an amazing relationship. She's his manager. So obviously they're working together on it. I'm not going to pay to see what's on the content, but I'm sure we'll all hear about it.
it will get filtration of that for sure.
More power to him. Make the money, do whatever you got to do. So
yeah, find ways to make more bread. You know, it's not, if you just put all your eggs in one basket, things can go wrong. But if you have little options here and there, like I'm in my side, like since I'm not that good looking for the OnlyFans, I'm trying to get invest in rental properties and just keep spreading my money because, you know, we have a small window that we can make so much, but you gotta be smart about it. How many fighters just blew the money just because they're ignorant?
Over 90%, and that's true of all athletes.
And let's be honest, rental properties and real estate, that's going to age better than OnlyFans. I'm just saying.
I'll say it again, even with recessions that'll take place or take place a little bit now, you hold on to a fine piece of real estate, no matter what it is, for 5 years, you will always make money. Never sell it unless you need to make money. Me personally, I could give you examples of a couple pieces of real estate I sold that I wish I never did. I wish I still had them. One being a beautiful beach house. You know, but you know, everything's worked out otherwise. Real estate, good for you, Chito. You're building a base for your family. You're building a family nut, you know, that will grow. Very good for you. Smart. Very smart.
Yeah, that's what I'm going right now. I'm heading into that, but you know, little by little, just getting to know the game, getting myself smart about it, and then just pull the trigger when the opportunity comes.
Before we get out of here, I want to pick Chito's brain about some upcoming fights in the bantamweight division. You got Aljamain Sterling defending his title against TJ Dillashaw. Would love your thoughts on that, and then also your thoughts on a guy who you beat, Sean O'Malley, taking on Peter Yan.
In the title fight, I'm benefiting TJ for two reasons. It's a fighter's fight. He comes and go. He really don't get in there to win by points. He really try to finish you, and he have the wrestling factor that in most of the fights that Aljamain lost is when somebody was able to out wrestle or stop the takedown and kind of like just put pressure. Like he's not a guy that if plan A didn't work, he said, okay, fuck it, it's time to fight, and then figure it out. He don't really buy the mouthpiece and go after it. But I also see in TJ's last fight, he got very beat up against a guy that don't have really a lot of power. So maybe age is a factor in this fight. You got a younger athlete in Sterling, and age can be, it's not an old people sport. But I'm not calling TJ old. I'm just saying he's closer to be out of his prime. And in the other side we have a younger Sterling. So that's how I see it. If he can keep up, I think he can beat him up, because Sterling's gonna put a lot of pressure in trying to get a hold of him. So everything comes down to conditioning, how healthy they are, and we'll see.
Let's talk about Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan. You think O'Malley's ready for this step up, or do you think Yan is still the same fighter that he was when he captured that belt?
If he's ready for the step up, I don't know. The only 2 step ups he ever had, he got knocked the fuck out one time, and in the other one, I don't know, he couldn't handle it. He made a mistake and he poked Munoz in the eyes. So, and in the Munoz fight, he didn't do nothing crazy. He wasn't beating the guy. He wasn't like, it was a fight that it was even, like no one was doing anything. So that just tell you a little bit about the guy. Like, he's super talented. He's always crying online that people don't think he's good or things like that. I know he's good. I know he's talented. He got the tools. He just haven't shown it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, all his wins in the UFC is guys that are on a 4 or 5 losing streak, or guys that never won in the UFC.
You're talking about, are you talking about O'Malley or Yan?
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yeah.
And in the other side, Jan is a world beater. He's a world-class fighter. He puts pressure. He comes ready. I honestly think if he's taking this fight kind of like whatever is going to be easy, he could be in trouble. If he's really working and he have the mindset to get the belt again, seems to have a quick night. But it's fighting. Anything can happen. So I don't discredit nobody.
Anybody can win on any given night in the octagon. And the one thing O'Malley always has going for him, even though his body, I'm not saying forever, but has failed him a couple times, it's his reach,
Yeah, he got really good reach. And he's just big for the division. He's bigger than everybody else. I believe him and Sterling are like the guys that are the biggest out of the division. That they cutting weight a lot, and he's already tall for the division.
Yeah, so we'll see. Definitely, it's definitely always a entertaining fighter, to say the least.
100%. No, 100%. That's why he
100%.
got the popularity he have. Like, credit to him on that. He does well there. But this is not just entertainment. This is fighting too.
Exactly. Chito, is there anything that you'd like to elaborate on, or because before we let you go, anything you wanted to let us know that's happening, or the fans, whatever?
Oh, I'm about to drop my 20th fight anniversary shirt. So when these are ready, I'm gonna put that on my website, and I'm gonna little by little start just doing small drops here and there and just keep people excited.
That's awesome. Chito, remember we talked about this before. You should be on my Millions company, millions.co. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna get you set up. I think I have TJ. Make sure I have his information, please, and I'm gonna double text you with my my partner Brandon, because I won't interfere with anything you're doing. The Shevchenko sisters are on it. I can go into a number of UFC fighters on it. You could have a special night of a fight. Something happens, you say something. We'll have that shirt ready to be sold to the entire world the next day. But we'll create your whole merchandise line, or the existing one we can put on and give you a whole nother avenue to sell it. Plus, like Shevchenko sisters, they have watch parties. Well, they do watch parties, and their fans will pay them a small amount of money to watch the fights with them. And basically, I'm trying to help fighters brand themselves and make more money in between your fight nights for your paycheck. So take this little thing with them, set up. It's not going to cost you a dime. It's very minimal work, and it's just going to expand your brand, expand your shirts, everything. So,
Perfect.
no money in my pocket other than being a part owner in the company and co-founder. The bottom line is I'm doing this for the fighters.
That's really cool from you, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chito. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I know you're going to be commentating. I know you're going to be rooting for Mackenzie, I'm sure. And I can't wait to see the fight, man. It's going to be fun.
I'll be there. I'll see you guys there.
Thanks, Chito.
All right, take care, champ. Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Surf hard, surf safe.
Always, sir. Always.
Charge, baby. Charge.
That's the goal.
All right, you got it. Bye, Chito.
There he is, Chito Vera. Always a fun interview and a super nice guy.
Super nice guy. You know, there's a couple stories in the news I want to go over here before we sign off today. This hurricane situation in Florida is just crazy. Even hurricane chasers are calling it the worst storm they've ever seen.
Yeah, it's hard to tell how bad things are because, you know, the news, like I remember seeing like Weather Channel hits where there's like behind the scenes stuff where people are filming the Weather Channel people out in the middle of like a storm, and they're clearly being hyperbolic. But what's interesting about Hurricane Ian is it was one that was not thought to be bad at first, and then got all the way up to a Category 4, and then got over Florida and just like came to a halt, Bruce. Like it dumped so much water. And I saw some stuff online where neighborhoods are literally flooded to the point where some houses look, if they're elevated up on the street, they look like they're on an island.
And now there was talk, Brian called me just before the show, and I'm not saying this is the case, but they're fearful they're going to find hundreds of dead bodies.
Yeah. And again, I'm hoping that is a bit of hyperbole.
And, I hope it's not the case.
You know, just being more concerned than they need to be. But the bottom line is this storm was a lot more impactful than they thought it would be. And then, like I said, when it hit landfall, it just stopped. It just stayed on top of them. And that's the worst part. It definitely lowered its power. Like it went from a Category 4 to a 1. But when you're dumping that much rain, it doesn't matter how much wind or anything that you have. Like the ground is only going to be able to absorb so much water. And we're talking about Florida being, you know, completely underwater.
It's scary. Again, we get back to the whole biblical sense of what's going on with the climate issues and everything else.
Hey, I mean, you know, coming from Minnesota, bad weather that can kill you. That's an every year occurrence in the winter, right? But I remember always living in the Midwest thinking, I can't believe people in California have to live in the fear of earthquakes. You know, the whole saying, there's a big one's going to hit and we're all going to, you know, fall into the Pacific Ocean. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But to me, it seems like I don't think I could live in a place like Florida. And, you know, I'm not, you know, knocking any of our listeners and viewers out in Florida, but it's an inevitability that there's going to be a storm that comes through your neighborhood and tries to rip the roof off your house. It's not, oh, it could happen. It's going to happen eventually. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine what insurance is like out there.
Well, it's in a comparison way, it's almost like in Malibu, where there was a point there were so many fires that we could not get fire insurance. And when you live in Malibu, especially in specific areas, you're almost guaranteed that I found in my experience, every 7 or 8 years, a fire is coming through.
Right. It's not if, it's when. And I guess every place has that. But now we see with, I'm not trying to bring this to climate change, but now we see with, you know, as we progress, you know, things seem to be more and more predictable when it comes to catastrophic issues. Like California's going to burn, Florida's going to, you know, get bulldozed by winds and rain, and the Midwest is going to get hit with insane, you know, temperatures. So it's, I don't know, just keep your circle happy and healthy and close, and make sure you got batteries for your flashlights and non-perishable food items in your pantry.
Yeah, we've had electrical out what do you call it?
Power outages, right?
Here in my neighborhood. I'm looking into, I have solar panels and all, but I'm looking into getting a generator for the house, not a gas generator, not a propane generator, but one that works off the panels, because I don't want to take any chance of fires in a weird situation.
So it's been Vegas hot in Southern California the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I just got my air conditioning bill, my electric bill. Why don't you guess? Guess how much?
Mine
I have a 1,600 square foot house. Okay.
How much?
1,600 square feet, not the biggest house.
If it's like my mom's bill, you paid $500.
Higher.
8?
Yeah, lower.
Still, it's crazy. I was actually calling the DWP today because I have solar panels.
Yeah.
And my electricity bill's going up. You know,
that's insane. When you have solar, it should be going down, or at times even paying you. yeah. So I travel a lot, Bruce, and I had to have a conversation with my wife about, hey, the thermostat doesn't need to be at 70 degrees when it's 108 outside.
Yep. Agreed. Right now, it's kind of a calm day here. The sun's not even out. It's almost like
I know.
June.
I live in North Orange County. My studio's in Garden Grove, and as I drove down here, I went from the sunshine to some kind of overcast.
Yeah. Well, listen, we still live in one of the most amazing states for weather in the country.
It ain't bad, Bruce. Like I said, I used to have to have a Snickers bar, bottled water, and kitty litter in the back trunk of my car at all times when I lived in Minnesota, because that was the kit you might need if your car slides off the road in sub-zero weather.
Exactly. Don't forget the earthquake kit.
I don't know if I have one of those. I think my wife probably does. She's smarter than me.
I do. It's in the garage. It'll probably take me until tomorrow to find it when the earthquake hits us. So,
right.
Anyway, let's talk a little NFL talk. Very hard to predict these games. Week number 4 coming up. Now is where I can start predicting me a little bit. My Philadelphia Eagles looking amazing, 3-0. Miami Dolphins 3-0. Tonight, Dolphins place. Well, actually, will the show be on tomorrow?
It'll be Friday. So last night, technically.
Okay, last night's game prediction. I took the Miami Dolphins plus 4 points. They're an undefeated team. They're in Cincinnati. How can you not take the points?
Are you ready for this? Hey, and you won. Oh,
I'm
and
hoping
you lost. Dang.
Listen, the game last Monday night.
Yeah.
Right. I'm watching the game, or Sunday night.
Sunday night. Monday was the Vikings.
Yeah. I'm watching the game Sunday night. I have the team plus 6 points. There's 3 seconds left. It's tied.
Okay.
They're in the end zone trying to score their touchdown, and they fumble the ball, and the other team falls on it. My tied 6 points loses by a touchdown in the last 3 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, those bookmakers, they always seem to know right where to put that line. You know what I mean? Because it always comes down to something like that, it seems, Bruce.
I agree. So I'm going to give you a couple of picks for the weekend for Sunday's game. And here they are as follows. Definitely the Raiders are 3-0 going into the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Raiders are -1 at home. Go with the Raiders.
No. The Raiders are 2-1.
Nope. 3-0.
I thought they won. I thought they lost that game after halftime where they were up big.
That was the first game of the first home opener, which is their second game of the season.
Oh, okay.
I left because I had to go to ADCC. It was 20-0. They lost 29-23 in that game.
Oh, so it was preseason?
No, it was the second game of the season.
So they lost. So they're not 3-0.
No, they are 3-0. No, they're 0-3. 0-3.
Oh, geez.
No, I keep saying 3-0. Pardon me.
0-3.
Philadelphia is 3-0. Pardon me. No, the Raiders. What I meant is that they've lost 3 games. I said
I
it
got
wrong.
you. Got
They
you.
are 3 games losing, going into their 4th game. Got to go with the Raiders against the Broncos, even though Russell Wilson, the Broncos are tough, but
Mr. Unlimited.
definitely going that. Definitely stick with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're -3.5 at home against the Jaguars. If you're betting on the betting line, buy it down to 3 or buy it down to 2.5 and go full board on the Eagles. They look amazing. That's really about it. The other ones are really questionable. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would go with because Brady lost 1 week. He usually doesn't lose 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but where's Tom Brady's head at? I mean, there's all sorts of drama going on.
He doesn't look good. Did you see a picture of him recently?
I mean, I hear lots of things.
I mean, the guy's incredible, but he looks very stressed. He looks gaunt.
I think he's stressed. I think that, this season is
and his personal life.
Right. But this season, I think, is a lot more stressful than he was expecting. Mix that with his home life. And it's none of our business, but, Tom Brady, we always see him so stoic and so, capable. And for the first time, really almost in his entire career, he looks more than human.
Rattled. Looks a little rattled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a huge fan. He's still the GOAT. He's incredible.
How can you not appreciate him?
What was that?
I said, how can you not appreciate him? We got to go, Buff. We got to get out.
How can I not appreciate you? Get out of here. Do what you got to do. I want to go train. Get ready. I'll see everybody from the Octagon on Saturday. Go ahead, Tito.
Tito? Come on now. My head's not that big.
I got Chito and TJ together. I said,
It's all
Chito,
right.
oh my God. I'm sure
Extra
Chito
rounds.
Ortiz would love that because he loves when he's talked about it in the third person.
That's true. Extra rounds is going to be available for you on UFC Fight Pass coming up tomorrow. I talked to Jackass's Steve-O. He's got a new book coming out, as well as the actor Theo Rossi, who was on Sons of Anarchy. He's a huge UFC fanatic. I'll interview those two, preview this Mackenzie Dern, Yan Xiaonan fight. And yeah, just check it out. Available anytime for you over on UFC Fight Pass.
When you talk to Steve-O, because he wants to do a bit with me, I wasn't available when he wanted to come by my house recently, but just remind him that I'm totally open for it.
Will do. Steve is sort of become a friend. I don't know if there's a bigger UFC fan out there that's a celebrity than Steve-O.
He's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge. No question. All right, everybody. I will see you from the Octagon on Saturday for the Apex show. It's on ESPN Plus. I will see you from the Raider games. I set off the Raiders this weekend. Can't wait to do that. It's going to be very, very exciting. And outside of that, be back next week with another guest, and have a great week, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Tito, take care of yourself. TJ, take care of yourself. Have a great week. My best to your family. I'll see you. You won't be in Vegas, right?
I will not be. And it's closed, man. It is closed. Even to me and my extra rounds crew, it's closed.
Can't wait to see what's up. We'll see.
We'll find out.
All right, everybody. Treat everybody around you with respect. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. Set your goals, write them down. Make sure you know everything you need to know. So when you step on that yellow brick path, you can perform and be the best you can be, because then you're winning. Whether you're first, second, third, 10th, or the champion of the world, be proud of yourself by performing at your best. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Be safe. There's a lot going on in this world. Oh, and one other thing. It is horrible what's happening in Iran. It is the situation over there, women cutting their hair off in protest, everything going on in there. My wishes, hearts, mind, everything go out to the people over there. And again, I'm going to say one last thing. I believe in equality for women worldwide. Equality for women worldwide. That's all I want to say. All right, on that political note and human note, buffer out. Have a great week, everybody. Cheers.